You need to give us time. You need to give NTSB, it's not that we don't have information. We do have information. We have data. We have substantial amounts of information. We need to verify information. We need to take our time to make sure it is accurate.
That was the chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board talking this afternoon about the investigation into what caused an Army Black Hawk helicopter to collide with a commercial passenger jet as it was trying to land at Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. last night, killing 67 people. Now, I know for lots of folks who are new to aviation investigations, that statement is not what you want to hear. You want to know answers now. You want to know why it happened now. You want to know how it happened now. And some people want to start casting blame right now, too. If that's what you want, go to someone else's page, because that's not what you're going to get here, and that is not what I do. I am going to do what I always do, which is follow the facts. I do not share opinions, nor do I share speculation on this page. So for those of you who just don't understand how these investigations work and can't understand why things take so long, I hope this video can be helpful. So I'm going to start there with the investigation now underway into what exactly happened last night and why. The group in charge of answering those questions is the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board. The NTSB is an independent body within the Department of Transportation that is in charge of investigating all kinds of aviation, highway, marine, pipeline, and railroad incidents. They investigate incidents all over the country, from things like planes landing on freeways because of mechanical issues, all the way to major incidents like the one in DC last night, and like others you may be familiar with, like that train derailment in Ohio and the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant in California. Now, back in 1967, when Congress passed a law that created the Department of Transportation and the NTSB, they knew the NTSB was going to need to be independent, because it was going to be the responsibility of the NTSB to investigate incidents that could ultimately point out deficiencies within the Department of Transportation. The leadership of the NTSB is made up of 5 board members, each of them nominated by a president and confirmed by the Senate to serve a 5-year term. The president designates one of those board members to be the chairman, and that chairman sits for a 3-year term. The chairman is also required to have a separate Senate confirmation. The current chairman is the woman you just heard from at the beginning of the story, Jennifer Homendy. She was nominated by President Biden to be the chairman and confirmed unanimously by the Senate in 2021. She was renominated as chairman and again unanimously confirmed by the Senate in 2024. That means her chairmanship term will expire in 2027. But it's important for you to understand that Chairman Homendy was originally nominated to sit on the NTSB board by President Trump in 2018. She was his pick. Okay, now to the investigation. I know lots has been made today about what the President of the United States said during that press briefing when he offered his opinions about what he thinks happened and who he thinks was to blame before the investigation really even got underway. He talked about the plane and the helicopter being at the same altitude. At one point, he blamed the military pilot of the helicopter. Within the same breath, he suggested that the air traffic controllers were not smart enough. And then he blamed DEI policies and President Obama and President Biden and former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Let me be very clear. There was no evidence of any of that. And when he was asked what evidence he had to back up his opinions, he said this.
That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
Again, that is his opinion. There is no evidence to back that up. And when asked about the president's opinions and whether any of them played a role in last night's tragedy, the NTSB said this.
We don't know what we know just yet. We do not know enough facts to be able to rule in or out human factor, mechanical factors. That is part of the NTSB investigative process and where all of these groups will come together. It's one of the reasons why the NTSB is known as the gold standard. We will take the time that's necessary, but I'd also like to reiterate, if we find something that is a significant issue that warrants immediate action, we will not hesitate to make those recommendations and make them public.
NTSB confirmed since they are headquartered right there in Washington, D.C., just a few miles away from the crash site, they were able to be on scene last night during the initial search and rescue operation. They said they did not want to begin any of their investigative work until today because they didn't want to get in the way of any potential effort to save people. But they were able to interview witnesses last night, and now that the rescue has turned into a recovery recovery mission, they are able to start pulling wreckage and evidence out of the water, to include those black boxes. All of that will be brought back to NTSB headquarters and will be meticulously put back together so they can definitively figure out what happened and why. And while it does not come immediately, the NTSB always gets its answers.
Our intention is to have a preliminary report within 30 days, and the final report will be issued once we've completed all of our fact-finding and investigation. Now, we will not be determining the probable cause of the accident while we are here on scene, nor will we speculate about what may have caused this accident.
That final report will likely be released in 12 to 24 months.